What do you think these people are working towards when they have roughly 40,000 police, security, and the military on call, working against our own citizens so that these people can discuss world affairs behind closed doors with no public input and no media coverage whatsoever from within the summit, in complete and total secrecy?
The very word secrecy is repugnant.
They have spent just over $1 billion of citizens' tax money to fund this event. What do you think these people are working towards when they stage false flag terror attacks like 9/11 to justify invasions into other countries and manipulate public perception so that they can enforce more control over our own domestic citizens? It doesn't take much to see what is coming when we look to history. Babylon, Egypt, Rome, the 100 Years' War, Nazi Germany, Stalin in Russia, Mao in China. Words like fascism and tyranny become reality and take hold of our great nation, whereas words like freedom, sovereignty, and democracy begin to lose their meaning. And we will not allow our beautiful nation to fall to a fascist, tyrannical dictatorship that these people are attempting to establish.
I'd like to thank the policemen who are not covering their faces because it helps us connect with you on a human level. We are just human beings like you. We are protesting on your behalf and on behalf of your children as well, your grandchildren. We are all victims. We are all slaves in the livestock management program. We are all born into bondage, but we are starting to wake up on a global level. We are becoming philosophically, spiritually, and politically awake. We are starting to see through the lies. The propaganda is beginning to not work on us. We are starting to understand how the illusion of finance works. We are starting to understand how the G20 only have any authority because we consent to it. When enough of you guys, when enough of the authority state, as in the police, start to realize, quit your jobs, start joining us, then there will be no one left to defend the very, very, very small group of criminals who attempt to poison and destroy our brothers. Beautiful human beings, children of the goddess, here dressed in militarized clothing. Did you know, this is a message to the police and it comes from my heart. If you guys were not here to stop us walking, all we would do is walk around the city like millions of people do every day. You know this in your hearts. You know that no one here is here to cause trouble. You know this, I know this, everyone else here knows this. So all I ask you to do is please start questioning your reality. Start questioning the orders you are given. Start questioning the hierarchy, pyramids of control which treat you as sheep and cattle and henchmen. You're all children of the goddess. You're all beautiful and divine spiritual creatures having a human experience. You are not consumers. You are not numbers. You are not machines. You are not slaves. You are human beings. Please remember that. Thank you.
Yeah. So here we are at the G20 summit, just at the steel workers mill right now. Just arrived, didn't run into any problems along the way, didn't get stopped by police yet anyway. Then we're gonna head to Queen's Park where the major protest is going on at 12 o'clock. Lots of people here to stand up for what they believe in. Yeah, corporatizing our world over and over again, continuously. Yeah, for sure, definitely. Exposed Bilderberg. Awesome. 9/11 was an inside job.
9/11 was an inside job. 9/11 was an inside job. 9/11 was an inside job.
That's Brian from Press for Truth from Canada. doing a lot of interviews on the G20. Just wondering what your stance is on the G20, or what is going on, or your opinion on just the economy and everything that has to do with this.
Well, I mean, they make the case that we live in a global community now, but no one really ever looks back far enough to realize that the same people we're surrendering more power of policy to are the people that put us in this situation in the first place. For instance, at this G20, they're talking about derivative regulation, which was the exact thing that caused the financial collapse down in the United States. So when you have something as poisonous as derivatives that they don't even know how to explain, the mathematical equations for derivatives are something you need to take a university course in to figure out. And I mean, even Michael Moore points that out in his latest film, Capitalism, how complicated a derivative is. And yet they're going to try and regulate them globally. And global financial regulation, surrendering your policy to groups like the IMF and the World Bank and allowing them to loan you money at interest. I mean, this is a poisonous recipe for countries, and if they think this is going to make the economy better by surrendering the policy and economic sovereignty to a group of private bankers, they're sorely mistaken, and they really need to look at the cause and effect of what's already happened from globalization. Essentially, the model of globalization isn't working, and we need to rethink this model to take into account people's individual inalienable rights, not civil rights, not government-granted rights, but inalienable rights. Your right to free speech, your right to vote for what you want, your right to stand up and protest against something, and your right to free media. You have the right to tell other people what's going on in your country, and they don't have any right to censor anything. You can say anything you want on your own camera, and that's the rise of the independent media.
For sure. And then almost spending $1 billion on the summit of our tax money, and this is what it's being funded towards.
Yeah, 18 million was the last one in Pittsburgh, 30 million in London. This one is over $1 billion. I mean, that's about 40 times the cost of the London summit, and they're not telling us what they're spending the money on yet. The public safety minister said, well, we'll tell you exactly what we're spending the money on after we spend the money, after the protest. So $1 billion between 34 million Canadians, 25 million of which are taxpayers. It equals about $35 to $45 a person. So I think people really need to take into account the amount of security that they've prepped up for this particular summit, being the biggest security event that's ever happened in Canada, surpassing the Olympics, which had more than 20 countries coming down to it. And you know, this is all protecting these international globalist bankers, and I would even call them banksters these days. I think direct action and getting out in the street is a great way for people to get involved in what's going on in their communities, make a stance against it, and basically say, don't tread on me.
Awesome. Sounds good. I totally agree with everything. Thank you.
So is there a war here or something? And I thought there were just people going to meet up somewhere and have a meeting. But it seems like they need a lot of protection for some reason from their own citizens.
Yeah, I wonder why they would need all this protection. Maybe because people are understanding what is going on. If it was for anything positive, they wouldn't need this. The rise of tyranny, once again. Yeah. Fascism, tyranny, happened before in history, can happen again.
This was a rehearsal.
Yeah.
This is a rehearsal.
Yeah.
I felt that from the beginning.
Really? Yeah.
This is a rehearsal.
For what they're about to do? Or? Yeah, you think so?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's like to see how it works.
Yeah. And they're probably feeling a little antsy to do something, so. Yeah, for sure, yeah,
but
definitely.
for the common people that sit at home and work and
all it takes is some research and investigating,
Like, no,
but some people choose to turn a blind eye, and it's a pretty big thing.
You wouldn't believe how many people work with us, but people believe exactly the same.
Yeah.
We just can't talk about it that much.
Yeah,
out loud in
exactly,
our
for
circle,
sure.
you know?
Yeah. No, I
it's
agree.
nice to know that, like, a lot
Little
of
education, every now and then
almost all
among our
shows.
friends.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's just research, evidence, you know, that's what it is with this situation.
You know what we call it? It's like, do you want the red pill or do you want
the blue pill? Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
Some people just want the blue pill.
Yeah.
Go back to the matrix. Back to sleep.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
So many people, they come to work, they do their hours, they go home, they go to bed. They come to work, they do their hours.
Yeah, exactly. And they'd rather keep functioning that way, you know, and turn a blind eye to all the rest.
Look something up, man.
I see the 9/11 was an inside job stuff on the
Yeah,
posted on
stickers.
signs everywhere.
Yeah,
And
that's
I tell my kids all the time. My kids kind of laughing at me, but I think they're starting to get it.
Yeah.